There are moments in Jewish history which are monumental and momentous in that they shift our view and simply, overnight, move Jewish history forward. Pesach was one of those. It happened so quickly. B'chipazon. Chipazon, happening so hastily. Did it really need to be so quick? Says Rav Tzadok. Sometimes in Jewish history it needs to be moved forward. It has to happen quickly. It's almost a leap to move forward. October 7th, 2023, Simchat Torah was also such a day. And so we see in this week's parasha of Parashat Vayeira of the Akeidah. The Akeidah, the most difficult of Avraham's tests, was a turning point. And the Malbim, the great commentator on the Torah, says that Yitzchak was the Yitzchak who descended from the altar, having gone through that experience, was not the Yitzchak who ascended the altar. Everything changed. He was no longer the same person. It was a moment which shifted Avraham's life for posterity, of Ma'aseh Avotzim and Abanim, and of Yitzchak's, who these two now lived in a different world post the Akeidah, the binding of Isaac. So too today, us as the Jewish people in Israel and all around the world live in a different world. What happened before October 7th, Simchat Torah, this year, cannot be the same way we behave thereafter. This was a seminal moment, a painful moment, a moment of hester panim for a moment. Histarti panai rega mimech, says Yeshayahu in chapter 54, that, so to speak, there was a time of God hiding his face for a moment, and it was one of the most scariest moments, as it says, B'shetzef ketzef histarti panai mimech, says Yeshayahu. With such turmoil and pain and anger, I hid myself from you. And boy, oh boy, were those hours of that dark day a time of such darkness without the light of Hashem. But it's only part of the story. Out of that, all the darkness in the world comes light. And indeed, it's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity. We have experienced a unity of the Jewish people that we have craved. It is so painful that it happened in this way, but it is happening today. The unity of Jews all around the world. This last week, I've spent time speaking to many delegations from across the Jewish world who come into Israel to connect and bring chizuk, give chizuk and take chizuk back to their families. And across Israel, we feel this in a way that is unparalleled, and the stories abound. Rahm Emanuel, who was the director of Obama's office, once said, whenever you have a crisis, don't ever waste crises. This is one of the greatest crises in the Jewish people since the Shoah, and let's dare not waste it. Let's turn this into one of the greatest turning points of Jewish unity, of Jewish destiny, where now we operate differently amongst our families, amongst spouses, children. There isn't time for rebels amongst ourselves. Bring families together, bring communities together, bring the Jewish people together. Ma shehaya, what was, lo yachol liot ma sheyeh. We have to operate differently, and Be'ezrat Hashem, if we're able to turn this mashber, we all know that the word crisis in Hebrew, mashber, is also the same word for the birth stool. Mashber, out of the crisis of childbirth, so to speak, comes a new era, a new dawn. The word mashber also, mashbir, is the great sustainer and provider. Yosef, out of the shever comes so much hope. And Be'ezrat Hashem, in the schut of this togetherness, Hashem will give us our spiritual iron dome to look after all of our soldiers, to bring back all of the hostages and missing, including our son Daniel, Shimon, Be'ezrat Hashem, and together bring in a new dawn of Jewish history, which will forever change the course of Jewish destiny and human history. Shabbat Shalom.